Okay, the last thing I want to do is just point out to you where the projects are and make sure you're ready to start turning in projects. If you've taken my classes before, you know the system. We're here at 127, starting at samsclass.info. And you go to projects. And here they are. And if you want to know the due dates, they were back on this page there. So project ED30 is due in a couple weeks, and then 101 and 102 and so on. And so ED30, you just need to get a Linux virtual machine going. And you probably can use one you've already got if you have one from another class. But if you don't have one handy, you will need a Linux machine later. And so the one I recommended is you just get Debian 11. If you have Debian 9 or Debian 10, that'll be fine too. We're not really using any fancy features. And if you have something else like Kali or Ubuntu or something, that's probably fine too for what we're doing here. But anyway, Kali might give you trouble. Kali can keep messing with things. But anyway, you can download a Debian 11 machine from here and just import it into any hypervisor you like VirtualBox or VMware. You can also use a Google Cloud machine or a Linux machine on Azure if you like. Any of those will be fine. Once you get some version of Linux going, there's a flag. You execute this command, and the flag appears under this green box. So you turn in this image in Canvas. You'll find ED30 project, and you submit the flag value in the text field, and you submit a screenshot showing this image as an image. And the point of that is then we can verify that you did it, and if something goes wrong, we can look at the image and have some idea of how to help you. And some students wanted to do this as the CTF format, and I'll add that to the bottom of the page by next week, so you can just put the flags in there if you prefer and do it like an automatically scored CTF, but most students are better off turning it in Canvas. So this is the first project, just to get your Linux machine going. And then you got a couple of projects just to make sure you know the basic Linux command line commands. And so the first one is one I wrote years ago just to give you some simple practice with things like ls and help and so on, just so you learn a few simple Linux commands. And then there's something Irvin showed me called Linux Journey, which is very nice, with a whole series of little lessons about Linux to give you the basics of Linux. And this one is going to have its own scoring system. I'll probably have to clean this up now that I think about it. But rather than turning in like 83 flags, I made one here where you can just turn them in here. And I'll clean this up. This is, I need to work on that. I'll have an automated scoring system for that one so you don't have to turn in 83 flags. And by the way, if some of these are too easy for you, like if you know basic command line Linux, then both of these are probably too easy. If a project is not interesting, just skip it and move on to the other ones. That's why there are so many. You can adjust your own experience. Don't waste your time on something boring. Don't do something if you just don't care about it. Like if the only thing you care about is Windows, you can skip down and start doing Windows exploits and so on. There's no need to do them in order. But if you do them late, you'll lose a few points for being late, that's all. But jump ahead to something that's interesting to you. The students are at all different levels, and I'm not concerned with all of you learning exactly the same stuff. As long as each of you learn something, that's fine. I think that's it for today. Just get your Linux machine going. Next time we'll talk about command injection and SQL injection. We'll carry on. If you have an old VMware workstation, should we dump it and the old images and start anew? You can do it either way. You can use an old machine or you can make a new machine. It doesn't really matter. Everything we're doing here is really very simple. As long as you have a Linux machine that works at all, it's probably fine. But it might be easier to just start with a clean one. Yeah, a CNET 197 and 198. Let me just stop this recording.